Welcome everyone, my name's Dave. I'm going to be doing a challenge on this BMW S1000RR. Essentially, when the sun sets at Land's End, Penzance, at 9:36 on the 21st of June, I'm going to be travelling across the country to Lowestoft, which is Britain's most easterly point, before the sun rises again at 4:30 in the morning, which gives me just over 6 hours and 50 minutes to travel 500 miles. And now, to make this a bit more of a challenge, what I'm going to be doing is actually doing this on the shortest night of the year, summer solstice, and I'm going to be doing this on a motorcycle. Now, this presents a couple of issues. For one, motorcycles can only do 150 miles on a tank, and I've got to do 450 miles, and I'm on a time budget. So I've got 6 hours 54 minutes to do 453 miles, which means I have to average 62 miles an hour. Travelling back the other direction, the sun, relative to the earth, will be doing 610 miles an hour. So one thing you'll know if you're a biker, fuel stops are more frequent. They're also a massive pain because you have to take your helmet off, you need to take your gloves off, you then need to refuel, go in and pay for it, and then you're back to the bike, put it all back on again, and off you go. And typically, I don't know, 10 minutes. So to do 500 miles, assuming you were brimmed to the top when you set off, that's 2 or 3 fuel stops for this challenge. This also represents 30 or 40 minutes of time wasted. Essentially what I've done is modified this bike so that it will take 500 miles worth of fuel. Ultimately, I don't want to stop for fuel. Right, let's have a look at this beast. And clearly you can see it looks like this has been modified, right? So what we've got, here is my tank. You can see Cynthia Spencer Hospice, thanks for the stickers. We've got an air tube, we've got a fuel tube. The tank is actually filled with race foam, so anti-surge foam, I believe is the technical term for it. Essentially in Formula 1, when you're going into a corner, you don't want the fuel to be sloshing inside the tank. Similar thing for me, don't fancy having 50 kilos, you know, back and forth on the back of the bike when I'm trying to ride it around corners. Next thing to note is this tube runs all the way to my tank bag here, and if we have a look inside, essentially I've got what is a fuel pump that will suck from the tank here into the pump, and then it will go through a fuel filter into the tank itself. So you can see here I've modified the fuel cap so that I can then pump this petrol straight into the tank, no issues at all. Now the way that this is controlled is off the power line I have on the bike. Essentially it's going to go straight into the pump. On the bar I have a switch which looks more or less like a missile switch, which will essentially pump the fuel. So here, if I just give it a quick pump here, you can see it's pumping the petrol through the pump, going through a fuel filter, and then it's actually slowly filling up the petrol tank that we have here. So pretty much this is my solution for such a big trip without stopping for fuel. Okay, so here you can see the fuel light is on, and I'm going to enable the pump now to slowly start filling it up. it. I can see it pumping through. So far, I'm feeling pretty good about this. I can't smell petrol, which is always a pretty good sign. All in all, I think it's working pretty well. So why the BMW? So for me, this bike's a bit of a Swiss Army knife. I do track days. I do Sunday rides. I take it for quarter miles. I go touring on it. Pretty much does everything I need it to. So why Cynthia Spencer Hospice then? So back at the start of my career, I just finished university and I was working for the NHS as an IT technician. Great fun. Travelled around the county of Northamptonshire helping healthcare sites, and it just so happened that Cynthia Spencer Hospice, one of those sites that I looked after. So Cynthia Spencer Hospice provide palliative care to patients facing critical or terminal illness, but also they provide support for their families in that time of need. Seeing the work they did, fantastic team, the staff, in, let's face it, some pretty dire situations. It takes a special character to do that day in, day out. So I decided that I wanted to do a charity challenge, and I'd be doing it in association with Cynthia Spencer Hospice. Do feel free to find some more information about this on my Just Giving page. It's justgiving/race against sun, and please feel free to sponsor. Thanks guys.